Hi, my name is Michael G, and have another video for you today. And this is from a New York Post article that came out today. I really couldn't help myself. This was just fantastic. So it's called the Seeds of Lockdown Stupidity is Bearing Fruit, and say this based on a New York Post article of July 19th, 2022, where Eric Adams says New York City may not have the central business district anymore as remote work persists. So what happened? So we had the lockdown. Once you have the lockdown, you have Manhattan Island, okay, with all the big buildings and everything. And all these buildings have all kinds of law offices. And it's mostly office space. I mean, let's be serious. Most New York City is office space. So all these people during the lockdown, which these stupid planners did, said, well, we have to keep everybody safe. So everybody now is going to go live wherever they live. And a big chunk of the people living in New York City are coming from the five boroughs, from the other four boroughs as well, and from Long Island, and from New Jersey, and some people, poor people, they come from Pennsylvania because to come to work, and they have to work many hours. So you got people from all around the city now that during the lockdown they stayed home, so now they were working from home. And they kept on telling us it's not safe, spread apart, whatever nonsense they gave you. This is what they were feeding everybody. And this pandemic now we're going to see the backfire. So when Eric Adams made this, he was talking about, listen to what he says now. I'm going to read part of this to you too, so that you can hear their garbage. What we want to do is, post-COVID, is now define what does work week look like and how we can build local ecosystems in our communities. So he's only talking really about Manhattan local ecosystems. And here's what he says. It's time to get back to work. Adams admonished New Yorkers in February. You can't tell me you're afraid of COVID on Monday and I see you in a nightclub on Sunday. Okay? I'm going to read one other thing he said. Okay, here's an interesting part of the article, and then we're going to get into what really this means. New York City and Center for the Urban for Future Event Marketing, the release of a new tech impact report. The mayor reiterated his concerns about remote work, impact on service workers. If I'm an attorney and I work from home, what do I say to the bus driver that can't, or the school service worker that can't? Adams said. So when we start dividing the country to say those who work from home can, and they know that they are the higher income earners, and those low income earners can't, that brings a real challenge for us. Okay, so his BS line, and it is a straight BS, is that he's worried about the bus driver and the local business in New York, okay? And let me tell you what this really means. You see, New York City has this unspoken arrangement, which means that the property taxes are exuberant, and they won't go after like rent hikes or in commercial spaces, because the more rent that people are charging, the more money the city gets. The city gets this money. City gets the money from the worth of the property and property taxes. Now, if that building is empty, instead of getting a lot of money, the city's going to get less money. Okay? So it's not about the poor people that or the people that don't have a lot of money, the bus driver. They don't care about those people. That is not in view. What's in view is the property taxes for the big business in Manhattan, because that's a big money. That property tax money is the money that the city like lusts after. But they should have thought about this, that this was going to happen when they had the little crazy lockdown. Because what happens is that they didn't think this through. They didn't think through what would happen with the lockdown. So now everybody's home, and guess what? The bus driver now is going to have a problem in New York City, but the deli owner in, let's say, Nassau County is getting more business. So thank you, Manhattan, for your stupid lockdown. Now you're going to help the suburbs make more money. That's what you're going to do, because now you're going to be home more. You're not going to go eat at that expensive restaurant in Manhattan. Now you're going to go to the Nassau County restaurant, and you're going to get something there to eat, or a better restaurant in Nassau County, because they're less expensive than Manhattan. Let's be serious. And you'll probably put on a few more pounds. So because of this leftist thinking of locking down Manhattan Island, the carcass is dying. When you have a big whale, like a big sperm whale or a big blue whale, and it dies, it feeds the ecosystem for 50 years as it decomposes, as other fish eat it, crabs, whatever eats it, doesn't matter. So it's got 50 years of life that it's going to give to all the little fish in the area when a big whale dies. New York City whale is dying. It's dying because you're not going to be able to fill those buildings as fast. And now that they want to, make the rents are higher and everything, they're trying to make back their money. It's not going to work out too good for them, because these people make more money staying home. They make more money staying home. They have who wants to drive an hour and a half into Manhattan and then drive home an hour and a half? If you live in Nassau County, you're an hour and a half drive in each direction. So you could be between 3 to 4 hours of your day every day, and you couldn't say in the past, "Look, I'm working from home," because everybody laughed at you. Nobody, So Eric Adams now, with his New York Post article now, is saying for you to go back to work so you can help that bus driver and you can help the local business. You know what? The local business in New York is paying so much money in rent and taxes. It's really deplorable. And again, the city benefits from this. So they're not going to go and say, hey, look, you really shouldn't be, bringing up your rents so high, because that's where they make their profits. I just couldn't help myself with this video. So the lockdown is so dumb. What it did, it was like a nanny state telling you, no, you can't make decisions on your own personal safety. We, the government, are going to make decisions for you because we consider you stupid. And that's really what the lockdown is. If somebody needs to go to work, they need to go to work. But once you get this lockdown mentality, not only are the people locking down their business, but they're creating this fear. And this fear is not going to go away too quickly. And they're going to try and do it again. I know they're going to try and do it again. And this is not even big conspiracy theories. Look, property taxes in New York are ridiculous. Eric Adams doesn't care about the bus driver. Eric Adams cares that the bottom line for the New York City budget is going to be dump, because they have to, all the big businesses now are going to go and say, hey, look, we're paying too much property tax. The value of the area is not the same to a certain extent. Or they're just not going to pay. Part 2. Part 3 is some of these buildings, also, this is another part, they get their value from their high rents. And that helps them borrow more money. But if the building is empty, because a lot of firms that take 10, 15 floors are just giving the keys back to the landlord, say, hey man, we're done. They're not going to get that revenue now when a big firm just dumps off 10 or 15 floors, and they just keep 2 floors from 17 floors or something. And you just can't justify that. The machine can't operate with this many broken gears, and the problem starts with leadership, poor leadership. As far as I'm concerned, Cuomo should bring back hangings. whatever, however you spell his name. He should be hanged for what he did. It's disgusting. He killed thousands of people. He killed more people than 9/11. Just think about how disgusting that is. One man with a stupid policy, who touted himself as such a great governor, killed more people by sending people to the old folks' home. I mean, just ridiculous, ridiculous. I'm surprised that he hasn't. I'm surprised someone didn't take matters in their own hands at this point. And I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? He deserves it. Sorry to say, he deserves it. You can't have stupidity that's not going to have karma. These seeds of stupidity is again, it's more of the left. So let me just go back into this. You have the left and then the right. The left hand is not your strong hand for work. It's your right hand. The left hand does not know how to create money. It doesn't. It just doesn't. What the left does is it works on the premise of it's the far left is actually the fascism, and it works on a collective. That's why whenever you have big cities where you have all these people in these buildings, they are like zeros and ones, like a computer in a building. So they have the lights on, lights off. It's like a computer. They got no land. They're not standing on land. They have no identity. When you have a house, when you have a house, and a couple windows in there, and it's on land, the land is also part of the identity. The right-leaning people believe more in this, in individual, whereas the left-leaning believe in the collective. And the collective is in fear because they are not used to, they're used to getting lots of education. They're used to the leftist ideology. So for them to make a decision about locking down a city it's in line with how they think, but it doesn't work out too good. Same stupidity now we got with Biden with the energy. I mean, energy from Biden, the Biden administration. Actually, before the Biden administration, before Trump, when it was Obama, they were the ones that did the coup d'état in Ukraine. And with that coup d'état in Ukraine, why'd they do that? Because they wanted to steal the gas from Ukraine so that they could sell it to Europe. And now we have Biden who said, I'm going to shut this down, I'm going to shut the oil and the gas, and now you have these energy prices in the United States. You shut down the Keystone Pipeline, and you also have the gas energy industry. They can't trust this administration because they flat out told them, we're just going to dump you. So how are you, as a energy giant, going to now drill more? No, just empty out your barrels. Just empty out the fields. So if you got your oil fields going and they're pumping out the gas and the oil, they might not go and dig new ones because Biden administration or the leftists can't be trusted. Because exploring costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to explore and find new oil, and why bother? They can't turn on the gas pipeline or the tar sands pipeline from Canada that quickly. Why should they trust the Biden administration? This stupidity, and now it's become a global stupidity because look what's happening in Europe. Same idea. Global leftist fantasy stupidity seeds. Stupidity seeds of the left. They're saying now that they're virtue signaling, with this war in Ukraine. Like, you want to stop the war in Ukraine? I'm probably going to make another video about this. The best thing you can do is Germany buys gas from Russia. Because this is all about the gas. The United States wanted to destabilize Russia after the failed coup d'etat where, Russia took over Crimea through the referendum. It was to sell gas to Germany. If Germany and Russia strengthen themselves together, there is no need for NATO. Get this through your head. There's no need for NATO because now you have a customer and you have Russia selling the fuel. So for the best thing for Russia is that their customer can pay them. So the best thing for Germany, buy gas from Russia, and there's no need for any potential war. There's no potential war. That's so simple. And anybody that tries to spin that Russia is going to go after Germany is really, I hate to say it. I'd like to say they're ignorant, but then when you present this to them and they fight back, stupidity. Is really dumb. It's willfully ignorant. That's the best way I could tell someone. You're not going to beat up your customer. You're not going to rob your customer at a gunpoint and take their stuff when they're paying you money. The United States now has been fueling this Germany-Russia tension because you see NATO makes a lot of money for the defense industry of the United States. Lots and lots of money. So the seeds of stupidity is Germany virtue signaling to not get gas from Russia for something that the United States created in 2014 with the first shot fired into Russia was in 2014 with the coup d'etat. Yeah, if there was a coup d'etat orchestrated, let's say we have Mexico. All right, we have Mexico. Let's use this example. And Russia does a coup d'etat of Mexico. Tell me how that's going to play out in the world politics with the United States. What's the United States going to do to Mexico if Russia made a coup d'etat with Mexico? What do you think is going to happen? You know what? Take out the word Mexico and it's the same thing as what is happening in Ukraine. Yeah. Mexico would be the equivalent of Russia's Ukraine. So don't believe this, that this Little Red Riding Hood story, that, you know, it's good against evil, because that's the Little Red Riding story of good versus evil, and the media anointed Zelensky as the good and Putin as the evil. That's telling you that your governments and your media think you're that stupid. That's what they're telling you. Don't don't believe what you're hearing about this narrative. It's the same thing when you hear the war in language. The language has war within it. When you see the word China, you know that is the country. But when you hear someone say communist China, whoever's saying that is propaganda. That is state-paid, influenced narrative. China is the name of the country. This is propaganda. This is propaganda. Anyway, this is not a very long video. It just, I couldn't help it. I'll put a link to the article. But now we're going to start seeing the fruits of this lockdown. You're going to start seeing it. And it's not what they're saying. It's the truth behind what they're saying. So, you know, when Eric Adams is telling you that he cares about that bus driver, nope. He wants that property tax. That's what he wants. And if that business closes up that supports, you know, some building there that people go to lunch, they can't pay taxes either. It's not about the people. It's not about the bus driver. They only care about the money. Always, if you want to know the truth, follow the money, because money is the love of money is one of the roots of all evil.